Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adobe Live. I'm your host, Ruben, and I'm super excited because today we have a special guest, Kelsey, aka Coming Up Roses. Kelsey will be designing landing pages using Adobe XD. I want to say hi to people on the chat. Let's see, Amanda there. Hello, Amanda. Voodooval. Hello, Gareth, Natasha, Laura. Hey, everyone in the chat. How you guys doing? But also, if you are on YouTube, just hop over to behance.net//Adobe Live and just come and join our conversation. Before we get started the show and jump into Kelsey, I just wanted to remind you that you can start your day by, going into the Photoshop Creative Challenges hosted by Wade Acuff every weekday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Tune in, challenge yourself with a new prompt every single day. Also, you can check out the new Illustrator Creative Challenge by Jack Watson every weekday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time before this stream. Just tune in, challenge yourself with a new prompt, and start learning Photoshop, Illustrator, and have fun. So Kelsey is a branding and it's a branding and a web designer with over 10 years of experience. But we want to know a little bit more about Kelsey. I kind of know her a little bit from Instagram, but actually I want to pass it over to Kelsey just to let us know a little bit about her, about who she is, and also what's the plan for the next 2 days. All right, Kelsey.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Ruben. Thanks for the introduction. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelsey. Like Ruben said, I'm the owner of the branding and design studio Coming Up Roses. I started it 2 years ago after working in the music industry for 10 years, where I worked in content marketing for festivals like Coachella and big tours like Taylor Swift and local shows in LA. So with that really came the knowledge of how to connect with your ideal audience by creating feelings and experiences through language and visuals. So I think that having a second career as a designer came really naturally. Nice. So a bit about me, I'm a self-taught designer. I learned from Behance, of course, and I Love Creatives. I took their Squarespace design course and it taught me all about Squarespace design. My favorite job, while I love designing, is momming. I'm a mom to a 2-year-old boy named Neil, who is just the best ever. I lived in Australia for 4 years and just moved back to the US. And if I could explain my design style in one word, it would be approachable. I like everything to feel friendly and fun and colorful. And yeah, hopefully you'll see that a bit in today's design. So today I'm designing the website. First, here's some of my work. My ideal clients are creators. They're people who live and work on the internet. Some of my past clients have been Girl Boss. I've worked with Leap Loves Green, creative agencies. Lots of different people, but they all kind of exist in that creator space. And I love to create their personal brand so that they can do what they do best and stand out online.
Nice.
So today we're working with Cooler Earth. Cooler Earth is a zero waste creative agency started by Hannah, who's actually tuning in today, I believe. You'll learn a bit more about her in the next slide, but this is the brand design we've already done. We used a lot of stickers, a lot of colors, cool kind of retro fonts, because so it's a Cooler Earth Creative is a zero waste content studio and educational movement by environmental expert and artist Hannah Tzedes. they exist to create these accessible conversations and stories around the future of sustainability so that you can do what you can with what you have wherever you are for a cooler earth. So she partners with a lot of big brands to bring campaigns to life, but it's all around zero waste, all around sustainability. She takes a really positive approach to sustainability. So it's all about starting where you are, hence like the colors, the stickers, and all of that stuff.
Nice.
So today, well, I wanted to show you actually her Instagram. So this is Hannah's Instagram. It's called the Trashy Collection. You should all give it a follow. We're launching this new brand on Earth Day this year, but
Nice.
This is her current brand. What she does is she goes around and collects trash from beaches, from different areas, and she literally makes art from it. So It's really amazing what she does. And
that's amazing.
It's been so cool to work with her on this new iteration of her brand.
Cool.
So today, go ahead.
Yeah. So today, what are we doing today? And then what are we doing tomorrow?
Yes. So today we are going to do her company is kind of twofold. There's like the art side of it and there's the creative agency side of it. So we're going to create a landing page for each. Today we're going to work on the creative side. So we are going to work on, that landing page for those big brands and agencies that might want to partner with Hannah to bring a sustainable campaign to life.
Nice. That's pretty excited. What about tomorrow?
So tomorrow we'll be working on the art side, Get Trashy. That's her Trashy Collection, which I just showed you. And we'll be working on that side of things. So this is kind of the website map I'm working with.
Cool.
As you can see, it's all laid out here, and that's kind of what I'll be designing today, each section, and hopefully everyone will have some good insights into ideas and things that I can add to it to make it a really impactful landing page.
Awesome. That's great. Just a reminder, guys, if you are on YouTube, please hop over to behance.net/Adobe Live and come join our conversation here. Ask us questions. I get to ask them to Kelsey, and we can give you more advice and tricks and tips. And we are creating this landing page in Adobe XD.
Yes, cool. Does anyone have any questions so far, or shall I dig in?
Oh, you can dig in. I mean, like, people are on fire on the chat. They're saying that's awesome. They're saying super cute. I love the branding. Can't wait to see the landing page. Great to see you. Oh,
yay. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
I can't see the chat, but it's great to know it's going off. So if you haven't used XD before, I've kind of uploaded all of the branding to here. That's like such an awesome feature of XD. Once you have the branding, you can just put the colors and basically your whole style guide over here, components, so that you can easily design, easily update things, easily change text. So you'll see I have all the colors here from the brand guide, and I have all of the fonts here from the brand guide. I'm designing in Squarespace. So I've kind of done it to Squarespace, which is like, I don't know how many of you use Squarespace, but they have H1 through H4, and then they have P1 through P3 as the body fonts. So the scope of this project is mostly custom website. That's usually how I design in Squarespace. Their templates are very limited. So I try to add a lot of flair to the templates, add a lot of CSS. I also took Square Stylist's course as well, so I can code. And I do also work with other designers within the Coming Up Roses studio to help me design and code as well. So it's kind of a team effort, but
Oh, so you create custom templates for Squarespace? Is that what it is?
So I do have a custom template for Squarespace that I do sell, but for every like client project, I'll just do a custom design for them, and then you have to like add custom code to Squarespace.
Yep, that's great. Yeah, I used to back in when I do code as well, and I used to create templates and child themes and stuff like that for WordPress. So it's funny. It's funny that, you have that, that background, like design background, but also you have coding background, which helps a lot.
Yeah, I do. I don't love coding, to be honest. So this year I've actually outsourced all of the coding to other people on my team, but I know how to do it. I think especially starting out, it's really good to at least have some knowledge around coding, just so that you're not designing something like crazy that's going to take forever and then costs a lot of money that you don't realize, or, things like that. So it's good to have the knowledge, even if it's not something you want to do long-term. I prefer design. So anyway, getting into design, it's hard for me to talk and design. I have all of my elements here. And first, we're going to have a landing page that has those two sides of the business that you can click into, because it's almost like two separate websites on one website. I'm realizing I have to minimize my things so that I can see everything. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and design that. You can't see my videos on my screen, right? You can just see my screen. Okay, great. Cool. Does anyone, what's everyone up to today? Are you having a good Monday? What's happening?
I think everyone is just coming back from the weekend. Like, I did a video on my Instagram where I was drinking coffee. I was feeling like, Mondays, but then as soon as you drink your coffee, like in my case, I drink my coffee and then I'm ready to go, I think
know what you mean.
Mondays are very hard for some people because it's the start of the week. You are getting into the groove of, working, meetings and stuff like that. But for me, it was a good start. We had a really sunny day today, which was awesome. A little cold, which I don't like, but we get in there.
When's it gonna get warm?
Yeah, I mean, last week it was kind of warm, and then it come back to cold again. But I love what you're doing right now.
Tricky.
What typeface is that? If you don't mind me asking.
It's called GT Alpina. It's a really good one. I think it's from Grilly Type. It's a really great serif font. We wanted to keep it kind of retro, but also still fun and inviting. So this is great, and it has a great italic as well. So I'm going to kind of leave it pretty minimal for this, but then I'm going to group it, and I'm going to go ahead and make it a component. Nice. That way we can add a hover situation. So
hover effect.
Right now, hover situation, hover effect, as people also say. So if you press, so this is showing the default state here, but if you press the little plus and go to hover state, you can change the way it looks when you hover. So I'm on the hover state now. I can change the color to something else. So do you have any ideas for what color it should be? Maybe electric?
I don't know. Maybe I want to ask you something about how do you select your colors when you're working for a particular client? Is it something that they already have something in mind, or you come up with the colors and then you present to your client? How does that work on your end?
So on my end, I love color. I'm like a color freak. The more the better. So I usually do a mood board, and that's the place I start. And then I drop colors from it and try to combine a bunch of them, see what looks good together. See kind of what works. And then usually I really co-create with my clients. I work with creators and creatives, so they're really good with color. So I usually send it to them, and then maybe they'll have suggestions of what they'd like to see, and we go back and forth. So for this one in particular, I also worked with my junior designer, Amy. She did all the lovely stickers that you see, Amy Brace of Amy Brace Design. So we really collaborated on the colors, and then the client sent some back that she liked. And then we kind of punched them up and down just to have a bit more contrast. So yeah, it was really a collaborative. I really believe that everyone's creative, especially coming from the background that I came from in, music promotion and marketing. I was often left out of like creative conversations, even though I was like, but I am creative, you know? So I love to like get my clients involved and make them feel like they're part of the process, which I know might go against a lot of other designers do, but
everyone, I would say everyone has a different, approach to things, and then whatever works for you, it works. So you don't have to, there you go. There's some motion there.
little hover vibe. Cool. So that's how I do colors. I love colors, as I said. So that's kind of that's usually like my favorite part of I love fonts too, but I think colors are probably my favorite. I just think like color brings across so much emotion that you can really like nail a feeling in the color palette. What do you guys think? Do you agree?
Definitely.
I mean, like nonsense?
No, definitely colors. I'm a big fan of colors. And if people that are watching over the chat, that they know me, UIUX creative, they see that I post a lot about colors and gradients and stuff like that, because I'm a pretty big fan of colors. I'm especially like color combinations and stuff like that. I'm a pretty big fan of that. But we had a question from the chat. And it was about when we were talking about coding and stuff like that. And the question is, do you think UI UX designers should always have knowledge of code? What do you think, Kelsey, from your perspective?
I mean, it's not 100% necessary, but if you don't, I would really, from the beginning, partner with someone who's really great at code, so that you can make sure that your designs are translating well and that you're like speaking the right language. Because what can become difficult is like when the client wants a change and then you have to like explain to them like, oh, that's not an easy change. Like that's like a whole new design that we need to recode. And like, so you need to kind of have that knowledge if you're I think if you're building websites in general.
Definitely.
And one of my recommendations for that is if you, like when I started outsourcing, I would just reach out to people on Instagram who I saw were developers and just like get what their prices are. And then when I'd quote projects, I would like price them into the project so that they could be like my development partner throughout the whole project. If that makes sense. Yeah,
definitely. I always recommend my people to, it's not necessary as a UX designer, but if you know how to code, at least the basics of it, you will get an advantage, because you will make better design decisions for sure, because you know what it takes, to make these components and stuff like that. So it's not necessary, but if you do have it, it's good. It's good to have, that under your belt.
Yeah, I think where some people go wrong though is like feeling like, especially if you enjoy the design part a lot more, feeling like you just need to keep learning and learning coding. Like there's there's a finite amount that you need to learn, especially if you want to be a designer. Like you don't need to know how to do JavaScript necessarily, Exactly. So it's like if your goal isn't to be a developer, then I would just hold on. I don't know why these are grouped. I would just learn what you can, and then
just the basics. Sense. I mean, like just the basics, HTML, CSS, you start with those, the basics, and then you keep learning, the new, what's the newest thing on design, UX and stuff like that. But then just keep in mind that, if there's something new like HTML5, just, take a look at it, read an article about it, just so that way you know what's out there and you can relate. And also, like, people think that being a UX designer, it's being just empathetic with the user, but you have to be empathetic with also developers, PMs, like everyone else, like colleagues and stuff like that. You don't have to be just, empathy with the users only. You have to be empathetic to the people that you work with every single day. So by knowing a little bit of coding, you help your friends and you help yourself too.
Yeah, definitely. But know that like you can get by with not knowing everything, and it is okay not to. Like, I think sometimes I see designers just trying to do like all the things, and it's okay to just like choose an expertise. Like, I think what's more important is like positioning yourself, making sure that you know who your audience is, making sure you know like who you're trying to target and why you're different, than like trying to just like be this catch-all for like web design, you know?
Exactly. I love what you're doing there.
This is like taking a while, but
yeah,
maybe orange isn't the best color with these stickers. Maybe I should do hover.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think on the chat? Should we pick a different color for the orange?
Hover
what
green?
Do you guys think?
Oh, whoa.
Let's see.
Why?
Let's see.
Green?
Oh, that green looks nice. It's really nice.
I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah, we can give it a go. Let's see how it looks. We all have a whole nother website to get to, so we have a whole nother page to get to. So is this cute? Yes. We like.
Oh, nice. Look at this. We have some motion already.
Right.
We still have a lot of time, and she's already killing it.
Little hover vibe. All right. So I think what I'm thinking for this too is, I know I tried Cooler Earth on it and I feel like it doesn't look too great with the split. So what I'm thinking is maybe having like a loading page that has Cooler Earth, and then it goes into this so that like all you see is Get Trashy and Get Creative.
Nice.
But yeah, because I think that kind of takes away from those headlines. Ooh. So cool. So now let's move to the landing page. All I have here is like the copy of each section, because I thought that would be like confusing to try to like Lorem Ipsum around and stuff. So, but to be honest, a lot of times when I start a web design, I don't have the copy. I know that they say like get that from your client first, but it can be hard for them. Yeah. So sometimes I Lorem Ipsum and put in placeholder images and stuff like that. But yeah, does anyone have questions so far?
Well, people in the chat are saying that this looks nice, this looks cute. Claudia saying river, that they say to use the light green for the Get Trashy.
Let's see how that looks.
Yeah,
that would probably look better. Whoop. Every time I do it, I forget to click into the layer, and then I change everything. Oh, whatever.
You can, there you go. Ooh, that looks nice.
All right, let's look, guys. Let's look.
Let's play it.
Now they're both green, which is cool, I think.
Which is cool because they alternate
at the same time. Yeah,
they alternate.
Cute. Nice. Okay, nice. So now let's start on the homepage for Get Creative. And like I said, this is all about attracting clients who want to have a sustainable campaign around something like a new launch or Earth Day or things like that. So it's really about Hannah's specialty is like stop motion and creating art with trash. And her point of difference is that she is the first zero waste creative studio. So let's dig in and see how we can kind of get that going.
Oh, there you go.
I feel like lately for headings, I haven't loved like the standard heading. I feel like I like maybe something different. Like, I don't know.
That's what's all about. I mean,
yeah,
it's about, innovating. You have a feel, like a gut feel of something, just go for it and do it. We have a question from the chat, and it's about design process. It's from Chris, and he's saying, when do you think about mobile design?
Yeah, after we finish the homepage for like an approved homepage, then I'll start on mobile. I usually don't design them in tandem because like if a section gets changed around, then changing it around on mobile as well can be tricky, especially if it's like you've already had to change it around for mobile. Things like often if you have like a row of things, then on mobile have to stack them, and it just isn't the best situation. So
I mean, like we said, everyone has a different process, and some people might start with even mobile first, which some designers and developers and also companies, they start mobile first, and then from mobile they expand into larger screens like desktop stuff, tablets. But it all depends on how it works for you. I think what you said is just valid. It's a valid point. You don't want to waste the client's time. You don't want to waste your time. If you start doing the two of them at the same time, if they change the whole thing, that means that you will have to change the entire thing again completely, and you don't want that.
Yeah, what do you usually do first, Ruben?
I usually go with, if it's a website, I usually go with the, like what you're doing right now. I start with the desktop version first, and then kind of like in the middle of it, once I get the kind of like the semi approval of the client, that we know the direction of the design and everything, I start like putting together like the mobile version. If I have components or sections within the website that we still need to talk about it, then I leave those like with a gray square in there, and then keep moving down and keep designing the rest of the page.
So you almost like wireframe it out.
Kind of, in a way that I know an image is going to go here. I know the text is going to be here. But then if they, for some reason they change it, then I will change accordingly, of course. But it's like I'm within the same, with you. I start with the bigger, and then once approved, then I move down to the mobile, because I don't want to, jeopardize myself and do a lot of work that is unnecessary.
Yeah, I've learned that the hard way.
Yep.
So many times. Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty intense when it comes to, clients and working on websites, because some of them, they want to see comps for mobile right away, and it's like, well, we have to educate the clients about, hey, let's talk about the desktop first. Once we get an approval on that, then we can move forward to mobile, which is going to be a condensed version of your site, of course, because we're limited by space, and depending on their websites, that they have tons of components and text and stuff like that. But that's why we are here. We are here to think about what goes in, what goes out, what colors, what typefaces, what colors are we choosing, and everything else.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I definitely think like in a perfect world, you would have all of the information you need, so you can just like go ahead and fill it out. But I think so often that's just like not the case, so yeah, I definitely am always, I feel like, learning with every project. Sometimes I am like, oh, I should have been a bit more upfront about what I need and stuff like that. But you learn as you go. I thought it would be cool to maybe have like a toggle for Trashy here to like go to the other website if you want to.
Yeah, that's nice. So you are working on the navigation component right now, right?
Yes, I am. So maybe making Cooler Earth a little bit bigger. But yeah, just
what do you guys think on the chat? What do you guys think so far? What Kelsey has done already? Like, what do you guys think? Did you like the colors that she picked for the little the intro? What do you guys think about starting with the graphic, with the website first, desktop, and then from there going to mobile? What do you guys think on the chat? How do you guys do it? Any thoughts?
I love a split section at the top. I know they're very popular, but I think as far as like a header layout, unless you have like a really amazing photo to put at the top, which like so rarely people do, the split section's a really good option to have like information on one side and then a photo on the other side.
Yep. They are pretty popular for sure. Yeah,
they are popular, but I think just because it is such a good way to like do an intro if you don't have like amazing hero images or video or something like that. I was gonna do kind of like a funky photo situation and then mask the photo on, or because I think with the earth it could be cool to have like little kind of cloud circular shapes. maybe. We'll see how it looks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What do you guys think?
There's people in the chat saying that I'm loving everything so far.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've never designed live before, so it's a bit nerve-wracking, but yeah, cool.
You're good. You're doing amazing. There's another
thank you.
Another Sydney saying you're killing it. You're killing it, Sydney. As per usual.
Is it Twin Fern, Sydney? Hi.
It's Vanderwood, actually.
Oh, yeah, she's Twin Fern. She's an amazing developer. So like she's one of my development partners that I work with. And that's what I mean is like, if you don't love development, find someone who does, and then like, work with them.
All right. Hey, Sydney, thanks so much for the support. We love it. There's another question for Kelsey.
Sure.
Kelsey, have you worked with Lotties before?
Lotties? I don't know what that is.
Lotties are like small animations that you can use, micro animations, depending on how you use it. Actually, Adobe XD integrated Lotties to the prototypes, which I have done it in the past, but it's so cool to use them. You can, download your plugins as Lotties, and then you can use them as, if you wanted a loading animation, you can use that. If you want, there's so much stuff in there, like a transition or a micro transition between different screens. You can use them as well. There's also video on Adobe XD now, which I think it's amazing that we get to use and showcase to our clients or to your projects, and show videos and Lotties to in Adobe XD.
Yeah, that is amazing. I will look into that for sure. I do use a lot of CSS animation
Nice.
once I'm like in Squarespace, but I am not like massive on animation, just because I think sometimes it's just for show and not for substance. And I'm really about creating websites that have, just everything has a purpose, right? Like it's not just for show. It's not just because we can do something cool. It really has something, impactful, whether it like carries the journey down the page, like carries the user down the page or something like that. So but I'll definitely check that out. I need a button. Do you guys want to help me with a button? So I have this awesome UI kit from Standout Squarespace, which is a course I took, and I'm always using it for buttons and icons and things. I have a few icon plugins too, but
awesome.
I usually have this docked to grab something.
All right, guys.
Rounded,
let's see from the chat. What do you guys think? Should we go rounded? Should we go like perfect square? What do you guys think? Okay, Chris talked a little bit about Lotties. He said Lotties are great for onboarding. Agreed, totally agreed. People are saying rounded. Let's go with rounded. I think it's because I think it's rounded because you started with a rounded navigation at the top, so that kind of like brings that cohesive look. And I think rounded will work. Yeah, Vanessa said rounded. Everyone is just, Andrew said rounded. All right, guys.
All right, rounded.
Loud and clear.
We are doing it. Shall we maybe have like a drop shadow or something? I feel like maybe it needs like a little pop.
Maybe, yeah. I like drop shadows. I love drop shadows, but if we use it in the right way, people like just use this harsh, drop shadows sometimes, and it's just like, this is just so 1998 when you use a harsh, shadow, where nowadays we use soft, You
be the judge. Is this 1998 or is it? What
year
is it? 2022.
2022.
Or is it 2022?
There you go. Nice.
That's kind of fun.
Look at that.
Like it goes well with other things. It looks big though, doesn't it? Does it look big to you?
It looks a little bigger, but it all it all comes to perspective, because I'm seeing it little probably from this view, but you can probably just like big. Make it a tiny bit smaller, maybe that. There you go.
And this call to action should be maybe work with us. What does everyone in the chat do? Are you all designers? Are you?
Yeah, let us know in the chat. It looks like most of them are designers, and they're, saying great things about, corners and using, there you go. They're saying the cloud are rounded headers, has a rounded corners. So let's use corners and rounded buttons.
Keeping it rounded.
Keeping it rounded. That's looking really good right now.
All righty. I'm glad.
Look at that.
So maybe we keep on trucking, shall we? What should be next? I think I had a marquee. I know those are very popular as well, but I like to put a marquee above the fold just because I think it kind of shows that there's more going on below the fold.
More to come.
What I mean? Yeah. It kind of draws the eye down. And when you think about kind of a user journey through a website, I think it's good to have some motion happening above the fold. I was also thinking maybe the stickers could like kind of I don't know, something like that.
Maybe. Yeah, that's nice. That's pretty cool.
Cool. So anyway.
All right. So if you just jump into the live stream, Kelsey is building a landing page or a website for a client. And right now she's designing the homepage. She's on the header section. She just designed pretty quick, lightning fast, the navigation at the top, and then created two different components. The left one with the really cool image with some emojis per se in there, just to make it fun. And then on the right, you see the header, you see the hierarchy. I love that. And the way you use the typefaces where you use different fonts, using your heading, and then your supporting copy, and then your CTA at the bottom.
Yes, that is right. Yeah, I'm having fun with it. I think it's a really fun brand. And like I said, the purpose of the brand is really to bring positivity to the sustainability space, really encourage people to do what they can where they are. That's the slogan that we came up with. So just making the website feel really approachable and fun is the goal.
Nice.
All right, I'm thinking maybe in between here we could put little like hand-drawn things. So
nice.
Here.
So what is it that you have in that bar? Is it text? Is it?
Yeah, so it's kind of like marquee text. I guess I could probably make it move in the live version, but usually for things like that, my clients know it's a marquee, so I don't actually do the animation within XD. I can do though.
Got it.
Do you usually like add all of the moving things as components and add like effects to them?
I think it all depends on how I feel that day. To be honest, sometimes I get like in the zone where I just want to like to make things like interactive as I'm doing them. But then sometimes I want to just like put everything in there, play it out. And then once I see it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to start. This is going to move. This is going to do something. This is going to do a hover effect or something like that. It all depends. We have some questions from the chat. So yes. Bethany is asking, how do you incorporate using grid into a website or an app design? This is a great question. Do you use a grid or?
I do, but I don't like to have it on all the time because it's obviously difficult to design. So what I do usually is like I have these lines kind of showing where I won't design kind of like the edges of the borders. And then usually once I have everything laid out, I'll just check on the board, make sure nothing's overlaying and everything's like within.
Yep.
Yeah, but usually like I design really willy-nilly and then I'll go back and like tidy it up. Yeah.
Nice.
For anyone who's like very much a linear designer and thinker, I'm sure what I'm doing looks very chaotic. Welcome to my chaos.
I usually don't use grids a lot. It's
wow.
Yeah, I mean, like it all depends. I mean, it's not that I don't use it. It's just like I'm visually, like I know what I need to do, and I just like kind of like you. I set up like the boundaries first, and then I know, what to do within those components. Like how do I go if I need to go overlap or, like absolute position something. And then if I need to tie things up, of course, I'll bring the grid back again just to see like, okay, so we need to move this maybe 2 or 3 pixels to the right. So that way it's perfectly lined up. But it all depends, it all depends. And I definitely suggest new students to use grids because it'll help them, have a balance in their design. But the more, you use it, the more you become familiar with it. And then your eyes will train, to see if things are off or on. Like if you're off, you'll definitely know with experience, of course. If you're a newbie, if you're starting your career, then I would say start, give them a try and play with them, with a grids, 4, 16, whatever you feel comfortable with. But then you can definitely benefit from grids for sure.
Yeah, I also think like XD makes it so easy to not really use them that often because everything kind of when you are kind of going over an edge, it'll like show snaps, you. Yeah, it snaps. Is that the word? Yeah. Snaps. Yes. So that's great that you don't really even need it. I mean, you do need it. I still use it like just then, I was kind of showing an example of when text looks a bit funky. Sometimes I turn it on to make sure it's like kind of within the right area, but it's not always super necessary, I don't think.
Guys, if you are on YouTube, and I suggest you to hop over to behance.net/Adobe Live. So that way you can participate, you get to ask us questions, you get to see what Kelsey is doing. She's doing an amazing job. Look at what she did now. She pushed the background a little bit to the left and then bring some of that, art, some of the art and emojis to the right so that you have like something off, offset.
Yeah, maybe that works better. Do people like that better?
Can you zoom in a little bit so we can see it more clearly? Yeah, that's fine. Oh, that's nice. Better what do you guys think on the chat? Let's see.
Maybe removing the border. I need to figure out how to make it not have a gray border on everything automatically. I'm sure it's a very easy fix, but I haven't.
There's a question on the chat. What are your favorite plugins and resources when using or when designing in Adobe XD?
I don't use that many plugins, to be honest. I use sometimes Recolor, but it's not great. Icons for Design, I think everyone uses that.
Yep,
and
that's
Lorem Ipsum. Not super good on the plugins. Something that I do use a lot is just reference. So I use Behance a lot. I use I Love Creatives has something called Internet Gems that's like amazing if you are looking for like really funky fun websites to draw inspiration from. Everyone knows Typewolf. The Webflow one is really awesome. Even though I don't design in Webflow, I hope to one day soon. So yeah, I usually look for inspiration there. I don't have a ton of plugins that I use within Adobe XD.
Adobe XD is one of the things I love the most is like how easy it is to install a plugin, and then you can just like drag things to your screen right away. You don't have to like wait for a long period of time to load something. It's just like pretty straightforward, you know. I do use more than 10 different plugins.
What are your favorite ones? I need to get on the plugin train.
I think one of my favorite ones is, of course, there's one for Unsplash, which you can bring like images right away, free stock images from unsplash.com. So you can bring that right away. I do use icons
for design
as well. Like it's one of my go-to. Sometimes I don't like their icons, and I have to like go and look for other ones for different versions and stuff like that. I use Lottie Files plugin. I use Lorem Ipsum as well. I use one called UI Faces. It's a plugin that allows you to bring faces of people if you're designing, you know, like an app or something like that, and you're creating an account, and you have to put in like some real images of, you know, male and female profile pictures. You can just grab it from there.
Cool.
Yeah. On Draw, it's another one that is pretty big, which is
Draw, that's icons, right?
It's more like illustrations.
Yeah. I've used that one before.
Yeah, but it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. There are a lot of stuff that I use. Quick Mockup is another one, just to create like quick mockups and, you know, wireframes like pretty quick.
I like the UI plugins that you can on my other computer that I design on. Sometimes I use like a newer computer for this live. I have more plugins, and one of them is like Instagram UI designs and things like that. Like it's easy to plug in the images for Instagram. So yeah, things like that are really great to use as well.
All right, so
to clients. So this area is like what she, like her services. So I thought it would be good to do kind of like a gridded thing, and then maybe like when it hovers, something pops up. So that is the idea. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll use different colors throughout this as well. So we could use, I'm wanting to like showcase some more of the brighter colors.
Yeah, nice. That's nice. Okay, this is kind of like the second component, right? The second section of the site after the fold.
Yeah, after the fold. So you go kind of right down into the different services that she provides. So I'm thinking of making this a component as well. And then, adding some cool kind of hover where like a photo pops up.
There you go.
Let's see what happens if we have a photo pop up. Maybe something like this. It's always tricky dropping in photos and making sure it doesn't replace the whole thing.
Replace the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, such a great feature of XD, but also can be tricky sometimes.
Yep.
So maybe something like that will pop up after on the hover state. Just make sure I'm clicked into there so it actually comes.
Perfect.
And maybe it goes italic as well. I love having mixed fonts. I think that really adds a lot of dynamic features in an easy way for design.
Yeah.
Let me see if that worked. Sometimes if you do add, it does.
Perfect. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool.
Let's play and see. Yeah.
There you go.
Something like that. Maybe it's not tilted. I don't know why I made it tilted. But yeah, different things popping up to kind of display her work would be cool, I think, just to kind of show people, and then leading it all to like a services page that has a bit more about her work and why to work with her. I think services pages are actually such a missed opportunity for designers. They really should be sales pages. So many designers just like list what they do, and they don't actually list like why they're different and really make it this like experience of what it's like to work with them. So that's something I really specialize in for my clients, is like, how do we create this world around your particular zone of genius, your skill as a as a creator, and how do we like really put that into this immersive experience in your website, where people can kind of visit the services page and already want to work with you without even having a sales call. Because I don't know about you, but like sales calls are not really my jam.
Yeah.
But they're like a necessary evil of, but it's like, how much could you give more information up front so that it like isn't, it's more of a no-brainer.
Yep, that's right. Have you had a situation where you have to not go fully high fidelity design and do like a low fidelity designs, maybe like wireframes? Like how does it work like within your design process?
What do you mean by low? Can you give me more of an example?
Yeah.
Oh, like, do you mean just like wireframing it out before I like go ahead and add
before you go ahead and fully design a website? Have you had an opportunity to do those first for the client and then just focus on the functionality of things rather than the visuals? Or will you go into high fidelity designs right away?
Yeah, I think for the purposes of this, I'm doing like high fidelity designs right away because it's like more interesting than like wireframing a bunch of shapes and text. But typically I would probably like lay it all out on the page first and then like layer things in for sure. Because I think that that can like save you a lot of headache, especially if you don't have the photos and the copy. So a lot of times if I don't have that, by the time I start the website, I'll wireframe it first and show them where things kind of will be so that they have an idea of like what length of text they need, like what exactly they need. And then they'll get that to me and then I'll go high fidelity.
Yes, definitely. For me, I think it all depends on the complexity of what I'm building. If it's something very complex, I would rather just do wireframes in like low fidelity stuff.
Yeah.
Because I get to focus on just the functionality of things rather than just me thinking about like, oh, what typeface I'm going to use, what colors, what type of design I'm going to. Instead of me thinking like that, it's more of thinking about the idea and how you can, make sure, of course, talking to developers, if it's feasible to do, if it works, and it saves a lot of time. And that's why UX is so important, because you save a lot of time from the moment that you are brainstorming an idea to, development and also like testing it and just getting feedback from the client and from users. Like that's why it's so important. But then if it's something that I know that I can, since, probably, your client right now and you know what to do and, you have your copy, which is very rare to get the copy ahead of time. I've been in that boat too. When you mentioned that, it's kind of hard for us designers to get all the copy beforehand.
Totally.
But yeah.
It really can be, definitely. So yeah, it is kind of a case-by-case basis for sure, but I do try to like lay out wireframes and then kind of go into the more design. But I never really design anything that I like don't know how to do or I don't know is possible. Yeah, because that is another thing that's great about having that knowledge of CSS, like what's possible within Squarespace. So I would never design something that is like crazy or really difficult. Although you should ask Twin Ferns, because maybe I did on the last website. We asked Sydney. Maybe she's like, actually, but yeah.
All right, so let's see what we have on the chat.
Yeah, here's it so far. It's like I'm thinking like the services will just be listed like that, and then this will go to like a services page. And then the next thing is kind of the value proposition. So, or like what they believe in. So that's kind of what I'm working on next. But what do you guys think so far? Do you like the colors? Do you want to see anything different? Do you want to try a different color? What do you think?
What do you guys think on the chat? Let us know until Kelsey can make some changes, because we want you to be involved in this process.
I was going to, I'm not going to like do it for everything, but the idea is like everything will have something popping up, obviously, when you go over.
Would you think that each one of those will be linked to an external page type of thing?
Yeah, so I think within the services page, there'll just be like sections for each of the services.
Got it.
That'll have like a lot more about like why this is for you. And like I said, not just like listed what it is, but really like a compelling reason why people would want to do it, like what the value of it is. And that's what these will lead to, is those sections.
Nice. That is awesome. That is great. Okay. And Kelsey's moving pretty fast. She has done already. Yes, she has done already 2 components, actually, like the header section with the navigation. And then she has done the second section, which is the second component, what the services are. And now she's moving towards the third one, which is the value proposition, right?
Yeah, well, like what they believe in, what their why, kind of their why, and it'll lead to their about page. So
okay, we have a suggestion from the chat. Andrew says that I think it's really cool. The only color that I'm iffy about is the dark green and the black text.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too. Do you think it would be better if I do that? I just didn't know if white text would look good with
the other being black, but maybe it's just like,
let me know what you think.
The contrast wasn't enough. Maybe
so lighten it up a bit.
Maybe the background color should be a lighter shade of something, and then lighter that's green. Probably what Andrew was talking about,
like that.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like it doesn't look good with the orange.
With the other colors. That's the trick about, designing. So maybe I'll go with colors.
One of my other lighter colors. Do I have any light colors left? Blue? Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, look at that.
I could maybe make this one green and with white. What do you guys think?
Maybe, yeah. Lighter green is better. That's from Vanessa.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Yeah.
I think I like blue just because it feels nice there. So
feels
maybe we'll
nice.
Go with like a darker green there. Does that work?
Oh, there you go. Okay. I'm digging it.
We can give it a go, see how we feel. Now I'm like, does that work? No.
And yeah, and that's what it's about. I mean, guys, when you're designing, it's about experimenting, moving things around, changing the colors, changing everything in there.
I change the colors like a million times. I'm like obsessed with, like, I kind of wait till it's all laid out and then I'll go ahead and like tweak the colors as well. Like in addition to making sure the grid's all lined up, I'll go ahead and tweak the colors.
People are loving it. They're saying, yes, I like that. Okay, that looks great. Better. Oh,
better.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I wish I always had a little team of people being like, all right, that's it. Kelsey, you got it. Because usually I'm like spinning my wheels like, this doesn't look right. And I don't know. And then I like have to go on a walk or something. And they'll come back and be like, okay, I see.
Yeah. Since we were talking about that, what do you think about creative block?
Oh, creative block. I mean, yeah, it's real for sure. I mean, I think I deal with it pretty often actually. And it usually is because I'm just trying to do too much, or I like am not taking enough breaks. Like I realize when I actually walk away, take a walk and come back, then I can kind of see what the issue is. But if I'm in front of it for too long, it's really hard to see. So what does everyone else think? I wonder, like, it's hard. It's something you deal with a lot as a creative person, I think.
Yep. And from my perspective, I think it is real, of course, because it's there. Some people don't want to call it a creative block, or they just want to say that, that doesn't exist or whatever. I personally think it does exist. We're not machines. We're human beings with emotions, and and sometimes like we wake up one day and we have that block because like you said, Kelsey, like sometimes we are in front of a design for so many hours that it's just like, I don't know what else to do here because I'm tired of seeing the same thing over and over and over. And the best way to deal with that is to walk away from it. Either, take 20-minute walk or break, or even like an extra day. Like if you just stop working on it, and then come back the next day, you come back with fresh, start. Your brain is like, like rebooted already. And when you go to attack the design again, you're going to see it with a different perspective. And that works for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I also think like since adding people to my team, my like junior designer and yeah, just like having other people to bounce ideas off of, like the work has just gotten so much better since I've worked with other creatives. So like I had some apprehension at first to add other people because I was like, oh, maybe it won't look like me and like people hire me for my designs. But since adding more people, it's been actually the work's so much better, probably because it helps mitigate a lot of those creative blocks because I have other people to kind of bounce off of for the projects.
Definitely. And it's so good to rely on other people's perspective as well, because they see things that we don't see sometimes. And that's the beauty of working with a team or working with people close to you. So that way you guys are, you're fighting for the same, for the same goal here, to produce a product that works, and also that that makes sense, that it's working for the user, but also it's working for you, and it looks good. I love what you're doing there.
Thanks.
You just combining a few background colors in there and created this cool gradient.
Yeah, I love that you can just also add gradients to here as well. So like sometimes I just pre-make a lot of gradients. I know gradients are like very popular, but I think that for a fun website, they can add a lot in small doses. So yeah, I'm just playing around with what that might look like as well. I spelled toward wrong. I am like the worst speller. How do you spell toward? Is that right?
Toward, yeah. Yes.
Cool.
There you go. Without the R.
Without the R.
Yeah, toward. There you go.
Awesome.
Yes.
Cool. So that's that section. And then but creative blocks, I think it's Seth Rogen who I really like. And he says something like, you just kind of have to be consistent and do the work every day. Some days the work's going to be bad, and some days the work's going to be brilliant, but it's like more of an issue of consistency, because obviously if you write like 100 pages, 1 or 2 are going to be good. But so I think that's an interesting perspective as well, because I think, a lot of times people are like, oh, I have this creative block, but it's like, well, maybe it's actually just that, like, don't let a creative block stop you, like just kind of maybe power through it or be consistent. And you'll get past it. And then like, that's where the magic is kind of on the other side of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great advice. I have people on the chat saying that yes, take yes, listen, totally agree. Take time away from the screens, so necessary at times. That was Hannah. Let's see what else we have on the chat. Need to go lay down a bit. Have a great rest of your day. That's how they are like managing creative block.
Which, you
go. We are on the same boat. It's like I said before, we are emotional beings, meaning that we need to take breaks from time to time. People think that designers are creative like 24/7, and that's not how it works. But we are creative, but it's not like we are creative, every second of our lives. You know what I mean? It's a skill, Some people are born with creativity, and because they think about things right away, they know how to, create projects or whatever. But also you can train to be creative. It's not, it's not impossible. People think that in order to be a designer, you need to know how to paint or how to draw or anything, within those, fine arts stuff.
Yeah, I also feel like everyone's creative in some way. Like my mom is a CFO of a company, but she has to solve problems every day with around like numbers and finances. And like, you know, someone might not think that she's creative on the outside, but it's like anytime you're problem solving, you're being creative. And
exactly.
So yeah, I think we have a really narrow definition about what creativity is. So much of me starting Coming Up Roses was to like reclaim my creativity, because I had worked in an office where like it was very like separated from the rest of the team. Like I did have a creative role, but you know, it was very siloed in content marketing, whereas like there were other departments that were actually creating the things. So I was like really interested in what they were doing, but I was kind of in my role. So much of starting Coming Up Roses was like trying to reclaim my own creativity. And yeah, I think everyone could do that. You know, that's such a big part of my own messaging as a designer, is like everyone's creative, just like start making things, be consistent.
Nice. All right. So where are we at right now? What are you creating? What is the new component now?
So this is like a client bar. So it'll be like a marquee of the clients that she's worked with in the past. She's worked with a lot of big names like Surfrider Foundation and Blue Land. So it's kind of showing that you know, these are the other clients we've worked with, so that prospective clients could be like, oh, cool, like we'd love to work with Hannah and with Cooler Earth Creative. Yeah, but do you think our clients make sense in the middle? Because I thought I needed to give some context, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, are we gonna have kind of like a slider? Maybe she has like more than 5 or 6 different ones. Maybe, you know, this 5 will swap with 5 new ones, or if it's limited to...
So I think she can put more, the idea is she'll be able to put more logos in there, but it'll be like a marquee kind of automatic, like just going across. We could see what a slider looks like though, if that's of interest. Would you guys want to see what a slider would look like instead? And you can help me decide what is better.
What do you guys think on the chat? Should we do it? Well, she started it already.
Oh, so well, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's jump into that. Yeah, I think it's very beneficial that you create a component for, you know, the clients that, you know, if the client thinks it's very important for them, definitely you have to include that in there, whether it's just a banner like this, or if it's, you know, kind of like testimonials. Sometimes I see when you're creating pages, you have testimonials from that particular brand, and maybe a person saying like, yes, I love working with X, Y, and Z, because, you know, it kind of like gives that sense of trustworthy and kind of like empowers the website to be trusted.
Yeah, totally. It shows that she has, you know, she's
credibility,
worked with a lot of big names, and she can work with you too. So yeah, perfect. Let me see. I think I'll use this. Isn't there like this thing?
There you go. Oh, I love that. Repeatable grids.
Oh, it didn't work. It's because I needed to group it.
Group the, yeah. Group them first, and then there you go.
That's such a good feature. Oh, it's still not working.
No, you got to go. I think once you click go to repeat grids at the top.
Oh, yes. Duh.
There you go. And then just pull from the right, and it should do it.
Doesn't seem to be working.
Oh no, because I think it's doing the horizontal. There you go. When you see there you go, that one. There you go. Now it's gonna work.
Yeah. So what we can do is pull it off the side, and have some sort of an indicator, I guess. I don't know, like a bar or something. Just showing that you can kind of slide through the client list.
Does
that work?
Kind of like give them an indicator.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. What do you guys think on the chat?
A lot on would you prefer a marquee just kind of scrolling through, or do you like the idea of a...
What do you guys think on the chat? Should Kelsey keep the marquee kind of like small component, or should she go all out and create this kind of like card layout that probably will transform into a testimonial component type of thing?
So here is kind of what this will look like. It usually goes back and forth.
There you go.
In the play. But yeah, the idea is that it would like scroll back and forth.
Back and forth, yeah. And you can do that with the scrolling stuff, which is pretty neat. Like if you click on it, yeah.
This one? No.
There you go.
There we go. It's like, why isn't it scrolling? It usually scrolls.
It usually scrolls, but you have to make, I think, more than... There you go.
Yeah, but you get the gist.
You get the gist.
Maybe I'll...
what do you guys think?
A little bit, make more.
I think the marquee looks better, actually. That's what Andrew said. So, all right.
All right. Well, you know what? We can just go ahead and delete that. But cool feature of XD.
Definitely. You guys learned something. You guys learned how to use the repeat grid and also how to scroll horizontally. And you can do it vertically too, which is awesome.
All right. Yes. So good. All right. So next up, perfect. I think we have client love. So this is what I was thinking for more of that scroll situation, is the client love section. I love to do little boxes. Squarespace has a great thing called auto layouts that you can style with CSS pretty easily. And you can create kind of like little repeat sections. So we'll have the clients, maybe just a quote about how great it was to work with them. Or we could even do like a full section of client love, because she'll only have a couple of clients to start out with, I think.
Nice. If you are, guys, if you are joining us now, Kelsey is working on a landing page for one of her clients, and she has done already like 5 different components already, 5 different sections or 4 different sections already: the header, the navigation, then the services, then the value prop. Then she had a small banner with logos from her clients. And then now she's working on, what are you working on, Kelsey, right now?
I'm working on like a testimonial section.
Perfect. She's working on a testimonial section, and she's going all out, guys. She has done animation, repeat grids, some hover interaction, and she's designing everything. I think she's gonna nail everything within one day. But we are here tomorrow again. We're here tomorrow again.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of things that I just do on a lot of my client websites, is like things like the hovers and boxes with shadows and highlighted things. Like, so maybe that's why I'm doing it quickly, is because I kind of like know what sections I want, and then it's just a matter of like designing them in my style.
Your head, yes.
Yeah. So I think because we did a Dropbox with the button, maybe doing a Dropbox with this Flexbox container would be cool.
Yeah.
We'll see how we feel about that. Yeah. Are people mostly web designers watching, or are they like interested in being web designers? Curious.
Let's see. Well, we know for sure Sydney is a developer and she's in there.
Designer. She's
designer as well.
She's a double threat.
Ooh, nice.
Would you consider yourself more of a developer or designer, Ruben?
I would say designer for sure. The developer, I got it because I'm very curious about how things work, and because I wanted to back in my days, I wanted to know how a website was functioned and how it was built, and started out of curiosity how to do stuff. And then it became like an obsession. And then I started like developing websites like completely myself, and I fell in love with it, but that wasn't my passion. My passion has always been design, you know?
Yeah, similar.
Always.
It's so fun. It's so fun to like create a whole world around something, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Have you had the chance to code your portfolio or, you know, a website for yourself and hosted it yourself and everything?
Yeah, so mine's in Squarespace just because that's my design background. But yeah, I actually like created a template for my website. And I use that template for all of my pages, but I also I sell the template and I use it for a lot of my clients, because a lot of people that come to me, they just don't have massive budgets. So I always like think of it as like drawing or like buying a house, right? Like if you want it to be fully custom, you're going to have to spend a good amount of money. But if you are down to have some like templates or, you know, some features that are already in there, you know, then you can, so I basically have this templated solution for someone who comes to me that doesn't have a custom template or a custom budget, but wants a lot of custom features. So that's awesome. Kind of, so it's like fully custom, but it's a template. So the features are already in there.
Got it.
Yeah. What about you? Do you mostly do fully custom?
Yeah, designs? that's awesome. I for my portfolio, I remember I always code my portfolio myself. Nice. It's a lot of work, but it's just like I have a vision of something, and when I have a vision of something, especially if it fits for me, I wanted to work and behave in a certain way. And then, having that flexibility that I can manipulate the code to my will. That's what I love about, coding my own stuff. But that being said, it's a lot of work. Like think about everything, like the design, the layout, the composition, the typeface, the colors and everything. And then on top of that, thinking about, what I'm using to code it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm using CSS3, HTML5, some JavaScript from some functions and stuff. And then it gets to a point that you get tired, because he's like, I don't want to be coding. I just want to design it, and just like, I want it to behave the way I want it to behave. But it's, that's when the coding comes in and kind of like help us out.
Totally. Yeah, no, I like to custom code, especially with my own website. I did a lot of custom, but then I found that so many people wanted similar sections and stuff, so many of my clients, to my website. So I was like, I should just make it a template. And because I took Square Stylist, it's like a course with Rach, who does, I feel like everyone in the UIUX world knows her. She taught us how to like basically create a custom website and then make it a template. So it's kind of hits both. Does both. It's a template. It's easy. I just have to like install it basically. So yeah.
All right. Really let's see what's on the chat. All right. Bethany says, I'm going back to school for graphic design and UX, and I'm finding UX. It's a lot of things like interviews, questionnaires, user testing, etc. So it's actually a lot of psychology. It's a lot of psychology too. Yeah, definitely. It's good that you're going back to school for graphic design and UX. You are going to love it. I always recommend people to jump into the wagon of UX, because UX is the future. We see it now. More companies are, like gravitating towards, UX stuff, and now with the metaverse and all of that fun stuff, people are just like changing careers actually. But you have to train, you have to practice, you have to, dig deep and make sure this is what you want, because once you're in, you're in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's so much room for it all though, you know, like there's people who love to do animations or whatever. That guy who asked on the chat, like, do you know, what did he ask? Some
Lottie. Yep.
Lotties. Yeah. Like, yep. I don't know what that even, I've never used that, but yet I have a super successful studio. So the people that I serve just don't really have a use for that. So like finding your niche, I think is really important. So, cause you can go down so many rabbit holes within UX and UI.
Yep.
You know, there's a never ending world of what you could learn. There's so many courses. So just finding what you actually enjoy and the kind of people you actually like to work with, and like knowing that you can make a good living. You don't need to necessarily have more information. You just need to really master what you do know and like become the expert in that.
Thank you for that, Kelsey. You just like nailed it right there. It's just like master that particular topic that you want to learn. And then once you master that, then you can go and you can, you know, learn a little bit of animation, you know, a little bit of photography, maybe illustration, come back again to your, you know, UX or visual design. It's a great way to put it. It's just master what you want and then keep learning other stuff too.
Yeah, totally. Keep learning because it's fun. Like my XD knowledge is always expanding the more I design in it. But also just knowing that like maybe you do know enough to just start and like go for it, you know? I think so many of my clients and people who come to me wanting to work with me are like just wanting more information and more permission. And it's just like, you got this, like just go and do it. And, you know, you don't need, like I said, you don't need more information necessarily. You just need to take action.
Buduval says, you really start to understand your fellow human beings and how they interact with the world when you dive into UI/UX. That's exactly what it is. You just
totally.
Yep, it's exactly what it is. You get to experience like the, you know, what people go through every single day with a product or service. It's just understanding them and, you know, removing that friction. You know, design is so simple that is, you know, that is so complicated. That's why it's complicated, because it's so simple, right? And also design is seamless. You don't see a design that works well, like you don't even notice it. But if there's friction, like because of X, Y, and Z, let's say something is very, you know, it has a low contrast, it's gonna become a problem, and it's gonna have friction between the user and the product, and that's gonna, you know, come back to you in a negative feedback, and you don't want that. You want to empower the users, right?
Totally. What is your favorite part about UX design? Like why does it light you up?
I think my favorite part is to get to create a product for so many people, depending of course on what I'm working on and how this product that I'm creating myself, like the creation of that product, will impact people's lives, whether it's through, you know, an application, a software, or a website. Like right now you're designing a nice, stunning looking website where this is going to transform people's lives, whether it's, you know, at a minimal level or on a bigger level, but you are making that change.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Do you enjoy the design process, or is it something that, yeah, like what's your favorite part about the design process, I guess?
Design process, I remember back when I started, the design process that I had was very immature per se. I was just, you know, caring more about the end product right away rather than enjoying the process. But then I think that comes with time and experience. And, you know, I've been doing this for 16 years now. And when I started, I didn't care much about how the developers would design something. It was more like, hey, I designed this beautiful website, just do it the way I did it. And it was very like, it was very like immature on my end. But then since I learned how to code and, understood the engineer world, it became like really, like I became passionate about it and also empathetic with my, engineers and everyone else, and then get to enjoy the process. But what about you? Did you like the whole process?
That's interesting. You were able to like understand the more holistic world of design after being in it more. Yeah, I just love working with my clients. I think that's my favorite part, like working with cool people around the world. I have clients right now in London and Australia and Canada. Like my favorite thing is connecting with people. Like that is what lights me up in life.
Nice.
And being able to do that all over the world via the internet. Like when you told me Sydney was in the chat, I was like, how cool that I've made like internet friends from designing, like I was like girl who in the, early 2000s was on like, AIM and stuff, shout out AIM, to like now being able to I feel like, yeah, it's just cool to be able to make a career out of something like this. I really don't take it for granted.
Nice. What are we working on right now? I know that you already finished the testimonial section, but now you're creating something new. Tell us a little bit about that.
So this section is the About Hannah section. So I thought I'd bring back maybe that like cloud shape and that half-Z little block to kind of echo that.
Nice.
Because the way I design, like I said, even though it's custom, I do make templates within Squarespace, so you could easily duplicate any page and it'll look exactly the same, just so that my websites can really grow with my clients. So that idea is like, how do I like repeat certain features to make like these templates and make it really make sense as their, worlds grow, because inevitably they'll have like new services and courses, and especially in the creator world, a lot of new things.
Nice. I love that you flip it. You flip the whole thing so that way you create like some sort of balance within the whole site. Reusable components. Yeah, reusable components are very, very popular, especially for scaling your website. And that's actually what you're doing right now.
Exactly. Because you have to think like at the end of the day, after our few month project together, they're going to take the website and run with it for years. Hopefully it's a big investment. So how do you make it so that they can thrive with it and continue to grow with it? And that's the solution to that, is really these like repeating pages and things like that, repeating sections and creating templates. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. That's something that I think most people need to think about when they're designing sites, when they're designing a mobile application, or when they're designing an app. Think about scalability of things. You want, everyone is aiming for success, right? And what that means is that everyone needs to think about, a scalability. Maybe you start with 2 clients, but you're aiming to have 100 clients. And then how will you accommodate all your content and everything within your website? And how would you scale when you're going to add more stuff, more content, more landing pages? So when you're designing a website or a mobile app, think about scalability. It's very important. And that's exactly what Kelsey is doing here. She's taking advantage of that, and she's, reusing components, which I love that. And she's making it a little bit different, but it's the same component. It's just a different layout, different, composition per se.
On the other side. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And things like these lines I'll repeat, or, these boxes will be able to be repeated. So everything is easily repeated if you make a new page from the homepage. And it also makes the rest of the website design really easy, because even on the about page, you'll just repeat some of the similar sections. So yeah, awesome. Otherwise, if you make custom sections everywhere, it's just, that's a crazy project. So you want to make it easy for yourself, but still make it like dynamic and interesting.
When you, this is a quick question. When you're working on these pages and landing pages, do you think about SEO and all of that stuff as well?
So that's something we usually do as the last step, as like the refinement and testing phase. We'll go through, make sure all the photos are optimized, all of the like URLs are updated. There's no like pages that aren't being used. There's no unused JavaScript or CSS. So the things that can really slow down a web page are massive images and videos. We just had a client who had like a ton of GIFs. So that was a real challenge to like scale back some of the GIFs. Yeah, so that's definitely a really important part of the web design process is SEO and things like that.
Cool. That's great. What about video? Have you had the chance to work with a video? Do you know, like if a client wants something and wants to incorporate video within their page, whether it's a background or whether it's just on the front of a component, have you had the chance to work with video and put video on a website?
Yeah, my husband's actually a video editor, so he helps me a lot with
nice.
The tech side of things and video. So yeah, I use video a lot for clients. Obviously, a lot of times they have to have it. But yeah, I think it adds a lot to have video, especially like as full backgrounds. It's always a challenge when a client doesn't have a lot of photos to work with, because you really have to work with shapes and colors and stickers and things, gradients to make it interesting. But when I have a client, a good example of a client with great photography and video was Tamara Dreyson. She like took all these beautiful videos. So we were able to use them as like full backgrounds of her websites with call to actions. And it just added a lot of dynamic movement and interest to her website without having to add like CSS animation and all of that stuff.
Definitely. Nice. Yeah, it's very challenging when clients don't have a lot of like images or videos. And like you said, we have to work with what we have: colors, typography, patterns, you know, gradients and stuff like that. I do actually have a client right now, which it's kind of like in the same, you know, realm. We don't have a lot of images, so I have to be very creative and create things in a way that works for the brand, which is pretty cool that you are keeping you know, the brand essence right now. I see that these colors are working together, but then they are within brand, which is very important too. When it comes to colors and working with the brand and everything, how do you go about that? Do you present like a mood board with different options as far as like?
Yeah. So I think I mentioned before, we always start with the brand, and usually I start with a bit of strategy. Not always, because sometimes they don't have the budget to add strategy, but if they do, I usually start with that. So we'll start with like who they're trying to connect with, what their positioning is, all of that stuff. Then we'll include 2 mood boards usually, and then they'll choose a direction, and then we like kind of design based on that direction that they chose. And yeah, then we'll go into like colors, fonts, logos, if it's included, things like stickers, if they're included, patterns, if they're included. So that's where you have to kind of get specific with the scope. But I'm never like a scope stickler, because I never really price based on deliverables anyway. I usually price based on value. So instead, sorry, it's really hard for me to talk in design. I'm like, what am I doing?
No problem.
But yes, I forget what I was saying. What was I saying? Basically that. So I present colors and all the visuals, and then once those are approved, then we start on the website. We usually have like a workshop for a website map. So we'll work on the website map together. And then we'll go into like kind of what I presented this earlier was, you know, this kind of website map. And then I'll go into designing out the homepage. Usually I do 1 or 2 examples of a homepage if I feel like there's a compelling reason to show a second one. And then after that, once that's approved, then the key pages are just a matter of, because we've already predetermined a lot of the sections, it's just a matter of like kind of copying over sections and changing out the content.
Great. I was going to ask you that next. I was like, how many comms do you usually show the client? Because I used to do 3 of them back in the days. Like I'm talking about 2011, like 2011 and stuff like that.
That's
I used to do like 3. And then now it's just like 1 for because it's more, I know what the client wants and needs and the users. And that's why we strategize first. But
exactly. I think I'm a big fan of the one concept approach. I think it's like really great to, if you feel like you have mastered in what you're doing and you know what the client wants, it's way easier to refine based on like one concept than to kind of reinvent the wheel. Sometimes when you show too many concepts, people get overwhelmed. So I also think it's a really good idea to, I agree with you. Like,
it's like I said, if you give them options, they're going to nitpick everything from different, designs, and they wanted to merge things. And that's why it's important nowadays. We do have the strategy sessions and the discovery and research because we get to do the mood boards and everything. So that way we kind of like condense everything into the mood boards and the strategy and the plan. And so by the time we go deep into the design, the client already has an idea of what we are designing and building, so that there's no need for us to create a second or third comp. It all depends on the project, of course. But if you want to, it's like they said, work smart, not hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's true. I think something I've had to learn a lot in working alone is like how much I want to do the most. Like even leading up to this, like Adobe Live, I'm like, oh, I need to like make the website this way and this way. And it's like, no, like whatever you do is enough. Like don't like, be careful where you're kind of defaulting into, oh, I need to do more. Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, that's right.
So wait, I can't spell copyright either. Copyright 2022. I think that's right. So I think that's a big lesson as well that I've had to learn the hard way, is sometimes when you do too much, then they expect even more. And that can be a really frustrating client experience on both ends.
That's right. Another question that I had, let me see in the chat here. Is this a website? This is from Nia Simone. And
yeah, it's like a creator website. So it's for Hannah, who is the owner of Cooler Earth Creative. It's a zero waste, sustainable creative studio.
Nice. We have some other comments from the chat saying that the layout is interesting. They love it.
Oh, that's nice. I'm like, interesting. That could be bad and good.
Yeah, it all depends in what context. But I think it's more in the good side, because the way you're using colors and the way you are using typefaces and the components and how they're laid out, it's just like, it's interesting to look at. It's not a boring site. There are some sites that they feel blend, and you know what I mean when they feel flat. But then this website, what you're doing right now, it's very, it's in your face, it's colorful, it has dynamic. What do you guys think on the chat?
Yeah, let me know if you also think it's interesting.
All right, let's see what they're saying right now. Lauren, I need to remind myself of this every day. I never know when to stop. I always think I could push even further. Yeah.
Same, girl. Same.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. It's always with myself too. It's like, Kelsey, it's fine. Just like, it's enough, like spinning. Once you get into that spinning wheel energy, it's time to put the pen down.
Yep, that's right. So what are you working on right now?
So this is the footer. I usually do a pretty standard footer, which is why I'm share it, like I kind of copied it over. Sometimes I'll do something a bit more dynamic, but for something like this, I usually do like a Instagram at the top, and then I'll do like an email subscribe. So I'm just styling this footer based on her branding and changing up the colors, see what I like, see what looks good with this brown, maybe a little pink moment. This is her logo mark, so having that there, newsletter sign up, and just updating the fonts. I used it from the UX kit, which is maybe cheating, but I've just been looking at the time and I want to make sure I have time to like tidy it up and like show you kind of what I do at the end, which is like not only tidying it up, but also sometimes I add, speaking of put the pen down, sometimes I'm like, ooh, maybe this needs a flare there, and maybe I need to make this a little more interesting. So that's the plan at the moment.
I think UI like kids are very beneficial, as well as design system and stuff like that. I don't know if you had the chance to work with design systems. But
I have.
Yeah, but you see, what do you think about using design system and also using UI kits? What are your thoughts about that?
My thoughts or the audience's thoughts?
Your thoughts, Kelsey.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I try to use UI kits, design systems, in the sense of like I always have my branding design handy, so that I'm like staying within the boundaries of what we've agreed upon as the branding. So yeah, I mean, I'm not like a super, like I said, I can be a bit chaotic and I can also be a bit messy. I'm like a very messy creative. So anything that kind of keeps me constrained in a way, like having 2 hours to design this is like perfect, because I know I only have 2 hours. I can't fuss over things. I can't spend 5 hours like on a button. Like I just have to make a decision. I don't know if anyone can relate, but that's definitely something that I deal with.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
Toggles don't look like that. I feel like toggles are more like that.
Yeah, maybe creating the ellipse maybe a little bit smaller. Maybe kind of like to give that effect of, hey, maybe you can toggle this.
Yeah, that's more like a toggle.
Yeah, nice.
Should this be a different color maybe?
I don't know. Anyway, let's try it out. I mean,
let's zoom out. So this is pretty much it for now for the landing page. I think landing pages, you really want to get like the information across, and you want to like lead to the other pages in a compelling way. So I think it does the job. It definitely has like a vibe to it. But now I'll go ahead and check. I'll check the grid, and then if we have time, I can kind of finesse.
Yeah, we still have a couple of minutes, more than I would say 15 minutes or so, but definitely you can tweak things around and we can keep chatting about, like I have a question about
design life.
My question is about your name on Instagram. Like, where does the name Coming Up Roses come from?
That's such a good question. It just kind of, I was working in music, like I said, and I had just had a baby, or I was about to have a baby, and I wanted to do my own thing forever, but I was just scared to do it because I had a good paycheck and I had worked in the same thing for 10 years, and everyone was like, oh, it's a dream job. Why would you leave your dream job? And then, I don't know, it just kind of popped into my head one day when I was like trying to think about a name. I don't know. I think that happens. And then I could picture a brand. I always think that's a good, when you have a name and you can picture a whole brand around it. Like I use so many puns and I use so many like plant metaphors about branding and life. And I think it just really adds to like the overall world I create with my brand. So yeah, it just kind of stuck, and that's that. What about you? Do you just go by Ruben?
I go by Ruben Cespedes, but on my Instagram they know me as UIUX Creative. I think
that was a good one to nab.
I was at one point about to change it, and I was like, probably gonna hurt myself if I do that right now. But I don't know. I came up with because UIUX, of course, I do that all the time. And then creative, because, you know, I'm a creative person. I just put it together, and, you know, that's kind of like how my name handle was born.
Nice.
Yeah, but, you know, I just put together two things, and I was like, I don't know. Sounds cool. Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. Definitely. Yeah, that's great. What do you think about a different color?
Let's see.
Does anyone have any opinions about trying other
Can you probably
colors?
zoom in maybe a little bit so we can see?
In?
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? On the chat,
ask them like maybe they should be closer.
Maybe, let's see, or maybe they can be right align, left align, center. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay.
Maybe like that.
Kind of like that. I like the
We could also try different fonts. We could try our body fonts. It feels like we've used that handwritten font too much.
It looks like there's a depth to it, which is kind of cool, because you see things, you know, like the hand with the emoji is coming from the left to the right.
Yeah, we can even
that's kind of cool.
Add more depth if we want to go crazy. We can add another drop shadow.
I really love the way you handle the different fonts. You know, when on the heading it says the first zero waste, and then zero waste is a different font. Just so you know, guys, font and typefaces are, you know, two different things. People think fonts are, you know, they confuse fonts with typefaces and typefaces with fonts. A typeface, just so you know, a typeface is a set of fonts, meaning that you have different weights. You have, you know, regular, light, you know, you have thin light, you have bold, you have black. That's a set of fonts. A font is a different weight type. That's the difference between those two.
Blue's kind of nice too. Did anyone say anything about this area?
Let's see. Guys, what do you think about the top navigation?
Gradient? Or is that that's chaotic?
Should we go with a different color? What do you guys think? Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. It's kind of like bringing it to life. Can you zoom in a little bit just to appreciate?
Am I really far?
Yeah, there you go. Just to appreciate that header section. All right. I think it works. I mean, I think the
color's fine.
I think I really like it. It's, you know, it works. It's balanced. It's not so in your face, but it's there. You see it right away.
Yeah, I love so many features of XD. How you can just like, that's another thing I do at the end, is just like making sure the spacing and everything is good. And XD makes it so easy to do that.
There's some people saying in the chat, what about reverse? Would it be crazy, you know, to reverse the brown color maybe? Gradient? Yeah, like, no, I think it's reverse. You have your text and like your navigation links and everything in brown, but then they were saying like, what if you reverse like that?
Yeah, that could be cool. We could give it a go.
Let's see how it looks.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. No?
What do you guys think? Do you guys like the before or the after right now, how it is? I personally like the before. I personally like the super light. Oh, look at that.
Blue's kind of interesting. I haven't really used the blue anywhere, actually. Yeah, we can try before.
I think, yeah, that one is white. Yeah, I think that one, having that navigation, because it's in your face already. It's right there. Yeah. It's subtle. And then you
I
don't
was
want.
even thinking maybe it could like go up and then maybe there's just like a little tag at the bottom that's like menu or something.
That'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, I know I could do that in XD, but I don't think I have time. Maybe that's a tomorrow's job.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Maybe we finesse that tomorrow. So yeah, let's look at it. I think we can probably add some flair to it tomorrow, and then we can work on the second page as well.
Yeah, definitely. People were saying that it's too dark. It's way too much.
Yeah,
that's great. I mean, we are pretty close. We are
to time.
10 minutes before we go. So
shall we give it a final look?
Yeah.
Do you like the drop shadow? Any other?
Yeah, definitely. So walk us through what you have done today. And then also talk to us about what you're going to be doing tomorrow. So that way people know and they can come back tomorrow and, be with us again and, give us the comments, ask questions and stuff like that. So go ahead.
Yeah. So today I designed the first landing page for Cooler Earth Creative. I worked on each of the sections and I added some cool hover effects, but I think I can add more tomorrow. And maybe finesse the navigation a bit, maybe add some cool hover effects to the stickers and stuff. We can make this slide. So yeah, maybe tomorrow's more about showcasing the features of XD and then also starting on the second page, the second landing page.
Excellent. So if you scroll up all the way up, so I would say, let's count down to see from the top to the bottom, see how many components you created. So you did the header section, then keep scrolling down. Then you created the services section, right? Then if we keep scrolling down, you have the value prop. Then we have some
little client slider.
The client slider.
Marquee,
then we have some,
if you will.
Yes. Then we have some testimonials that will go either left or right.
We have about Hannah, who is the coolest, the cool lady at the head of Cooler Earth.
Nice.
We have some stickers. Maybe I could add more stickers too. What do you guys think? More stickers?
Yeah, stickers are kind of like a thing that you started at the beginning of it, which is kind of cool. So if you can, I don't know, I think
keep it going.
Keep it going. I don't know. I think I find it pretty cool and interesting.
Me too.
Interesting. Because it's the design is more cohesive. Like you saw it at the first, component, and then you keep seeing stuff like this
I think
throughout.
It'd be cool to add maybe a couple more like in between sections too, so it's not so blocky. So maybe like overlapping.
Maybe, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah. So tomorrow, maybe adding some stickers, finessing this a bit, and then moving on to the second page and doing as much of that as we get finished.
Perfect. All right. So we are pretty close right now. We have probably
if I have some extra time, I could add some stickers now.
We have about 2-3 minutes. What do you think about what kind of advice would you give a designer who's starting a landing page for a client or for themselves? What advice can you give them?
My advice would be to really think about the user journey and don't think about just giving information. Really think about what the problem that the person coming to your page is going to have and how you will solve it. So you really want to be answering those questions about where your client is now and then where they will be after working with you. I think that would be my biggest recommendation, and what I so often don't see in landing pages is making sure you're really talking to your client and making your personality come across in visual and language. Because I always say think of it as a garden, going back to my Coming Up Roses garden pun. it's really somewhere where you want people to like stop and smell the roses, like stay a while and enjoy. It should be like a sensory experience. They should get a feel of like who you are and why you're different, and why it's going to be a no-brainer to work with you.
That's awesome. That's an excellent advice. And I think, I think it's just about understanding the client needs, understanding, what the user needs. And then from there, you can start creating a product that works for everyone.
And I also think keep in mind with what you're designing for, because all of the like WordPress is going to be different to design for than Squarespace. And
that's right.
Yeah. So just keeping that in mind is a good thing as well.
That's right. I just want to thank people in the chat. Thank you, Kelsey. Kelsey and I will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific time for part 2 of building a landing page in XD. Stay tuned for the Premier Creative Challenge with James Bonanno. And remember that Adobe Live will be back tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time with Creative Cloud Express. Stream to start your morning. Tune in with Alex Lazares on Adobe Live as he uses the app to create stunning social graphics. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Ruben. Bye.